Drew Dockry is the front man for local group Flibbertijibbet. We chatted with Drew on how he got into music, his musical influences, the origin of his band, writing new music, and what's next for him. You can find more conversations on our website, lacrosselocal.com. I'm Amy, and he's Brent, and this is Lacrosse Local.
My name is Drew Dockry. I was born in Green Bay, Wisconsin, on the east side of the state. Grew up a Packer fan, still am one. And I got into music at a young age, but I started playing guitar in high school and took it real seriously when I moved to La Crosse here to go to college many years ago and met other musicians and just got a love for it. I came from not a musical family, but I've got three brothers who are great fans of music, and they turned me on to good music at a young age. So I had great influences when I was a little kid. When most little kids were listening to AM radio and the latest pop songs, they were handing me Allman Brothers records to listen to. So I was pretty happy about that. That forged my musical life at an early age.
So I've seen you guys play numerous times at the Popcorn, at Moon Tunes most recently. So what are your musical influences?
That's easy. The Grateful Dead is a huge influence on me, always has been. The band Fish, Jackson Browne is a songwriter and singer. The Allman Brothers, certainly, for their musical taste and abilities. I tend towards jam bands. I love those. I listen to all kinds of music. I worked at a record store for several years in my youth. And I'm just always around music and always enjoy it. And the thing I take from the Grateful Dead largely is when you say that to people, they think of a certain, I think, image comes to mind, deadheads and dropouts and hippies and all that. And good people, yeah, but there's so much more to the Dead. Their songwriting, Robert Hunter, their lyricist, wrote some of the greatest American songs of this past century. And I firmly believe that in 100 years from now, they'll look at the Great American Songbook and it'll be Irving Berlin and Hoagy Carmichael and Robert Hunter will be in there, Jerry Garcia with music and adding along. They just got such great stories of Americana. I try to emulate that in my writing, and I've always written original songs, and the band from the start has always been original music. And so the influence of the Dead always permeates my music, my playing, and my thought processes.
So I believe Flibbertijibbet is your kind of longest running band that you've had. What was the origin for that?
It started in 1991. At the end of the 80s, I was playing in some college bands in La Crosse, and I quit those and was looking to perform solo. I'd always performed solo from the earliest times when I was playing guitar. I would play out solo shows. And the Popcorn Tavern was just starting along in their music road around that time. And I approached Per, the owner, and asked him about doing a Wednesday night jam session just that had open musicians. And so we set that up, and I started doing that in 1990. And just by players coming and playing with me, I got a couple of guys early on that didn't stick with me for that long. We played for about 6 months under the moniker of Flibbertijibbet as a three-piece. Then shortly thereafter, Bill Motzel came along, and we stuck together and played together for 15 years or more. The band grew from there. We gained a bass player and gained a drummer along the way, played hundreds of shows through the 90s, got a new lineup, a drummer and a bass player, Dave Orr, the drummer, who's our drummer today, and Tim Powers, the local powerhouse bass player, was our bass player at the time. And from about 1996 to 2000, we took it real seriously. And we incorporated ourselves as a band and drew up business contracts and got a tax code and toured around 5 states and really tried to make a go of it. We recorded a CD professionally and we wanted to be working musicians and make it for real. And it just didn't happen. We had a great time doing it, played a bunch of shows along the way. And then Tim drifted away from the band and we got a new bass player in and we had a new renewed life kind of in 2000 to 2006. And then we took a break at that time.
You stated you took a break in 2006 and you kind of reformed where I've seen you play, which is at Moon Tunes. It said you guys reformed around 2015. How does the newest iteration, you talked about a lot of people coming through. How does the newest iteration of the band compare?
I love this band a ton. It's because we added one extra player, a keyboard player. And so we're different than the past. We were a 4-piece, 2 guitars, bass, and drums. And I did most of the singing. We had some backup singing. But this new band, we got a keyboard player, like I said, and 2 new guys, keyboard player, Matt Salvo, and guitarist Kyle Renfro, along with Guido Lemon on bass and Dave Orr on drums. we listen more, we listen better because there's more instruments. So you got to find your spot and you fill your place properly and in the right place. And these two young guys are half our age, which brings a great spirit of youth to the band. And I've been enjoying this more than anything. It's just been a ton of fun this go around with these guys. And we've actively been recording a record, which we're nearly finished with. We've been working on it at Actual Sound Studios with Mike Von Muchow. We recorded that over the past couple of years. We'd hoped to get it out by now, but because with the recent events, we decided just to hang on to it. And we want to put it out when we can actually support it and perform the music. So we're not doing that at this time. We're not even playing together, which is really depressing. I mean, we can't even get in the same room together and play. Just for obvious reasons, we're being very careful with this. Some of our members want to be safe and do the right thing. So we're all just playing in our living rooms and talking to each other on the phone these days. We want to get back out and play when we can. But this new iteration, it just offers so much more creativity and more avenues because the musical ideas that come up from these young guys are new because they grew up on different things and listen to different styles today. And so it's nice to bring that to the band. And I think we sound as good as we've ever sounded.
So you kind of touched on your process when playing and performing live. So you talked about this album. What is your process there? You did say you're spending some time on it. You know, you said upwards of 3 years on the new album. So is it pretty quick succession of work and then take a break, or are you trying to just take your time with this newer album?
Taking our time with it. Over the first flurry of recordings, we had played together as a unit for a couple of years, or almost 3 years, and we played a lot of the songs that I wrote together, so we had them down already. And when we went into the studio to record, we carved out a 3-day stretch with Mike and went in daily, and we recorded like 6 or 7 songs in the first 3 days, and just did them, just played them out and got them mostly live and got them down for most what we needed to get on them. And then there's 14 songs on this new record. So the other 7 or 8 songs, we worked on those slowly. We'd snatch a night here and a day here, and we'd get together and record them. And then we'd go back and guys would put their parts on or change their solos, and we'd add backing vocals. So we took our time building this record. And we worked with Mike Von Muchow in the past. He did our CD back in 1997 and did a great job of it. And we wanted to work with him again. So working with him this time around, we're able to take our time, and he's okay with us coming in independently and putting our parts on and layering this. It's all still live. It's not studio tricks or anything like that. We're not putting a vocoder on there or something like that. We want to be straightforward in our musicianship and our approach. And it's really paying off. The music is sounding fantastic. It's being mixed right now. Mike is mixing it and he'll master it, and then we'll put out the record. Hopefully we can tour on this and perform it in its entirety. We want to get out and play. That's the thing all musicians want to do, and we're looking forward to that very soon.
So is there any finished song on the new record that you're just really excited about?
Indeed. Dragonfly.
Or was it time that let it all just hang? She was hoping for the rapture to fill the space that she had inside. She could feel the breeze returning from the wings of a dragonfly.
The joke is the hit single. It's certainly got potential written all over it. It's just a great straight ahead rock and roll song. I heard a great quote from my friend Matt Becker. I played it for him. He said, "I want to get a car and I want to drive it down the highway on a sunny day with the windows rolled down, going 75 miles an hour, cranking that song." And I thought that evokes perfectly what that song is about. Just wide open spaces, hard driving, kind of Springsteen-esque, epic American song kind of. It's rock and roll at its finest. It turned out so great. We've actually got a video for it. We got 2 videos out right now from the new record, that and another one called Cascade that our friend Lucky did from Actual Sound Studios. And so those are released already in their finished versions, but they'll be on the record, of course, when that comes out.
Everything's kind of turned upside down with COVID, but what's next for you? What do you hope to happen over the next year or two?
Well, this time is well spent by all of us. The guys are all talking about still woodshedding and practicing at home, and being musicians, we can't put our music down. We don't want to stop playing, and I'm still writing. I've written 3 new songs that I want to bring to the band. Actually, 4 new songs, and so I'm still actively writing more material. We want to maybe make another record, just keep recording as we can, because I've got limited time in my musical life because of my condition. I've got to make hay while the sun shines, so to speak, and I want to play as long as I can.
Absolutely. So if people want to follow along, where can they find out more about you and your band?
Facebook. I'll spell out Flibbertijibbet because I know it's a difficult name. I joke about it all the time that I don't understand why people can't announce it, but you said it's great, Brent. You must have heard it enough times in your life. So it's Flibbertijibbet. And we've got a Facebook page, and we've also got videos. You can type that name in, and there's a YouTube channel with some of our videos and live performances as well. There's also the whole side project of Drew Abides, which you can find some information about the band on that as well. That's drewabides.com. That's sort of a side project of telling my story with a good friend, Todd Olson, and Simon Productions.
Lacrosse Local Podcast is a production of River Travel Media. Do you have an interview idea you would like to share with us? Message us on Facebook at Lacrosse Locals. Subscribe to the Lacrosse Local Podcast on your favorite podcast app. If you like us, rate us 5 stars. We thank you for it.